breaking down the top props on Prize Picks and Underdog today. All right, so as I'm recording this, we don't have a fully populated board. I have been doing the videos a little bit later on in the day so that we could get a fully populated board so that we could get the best props available for you guys' viewing experience. I do feel like there's enough good props out there to be able to put out a video, and hopefully they just do not get bumped throughout the day. But as we can see, Prize Picks wise, not a huge edge. The best bet that we're going to get is going to be Trevor Moore over 2.5 shots on goal, and that has about a 53% chance to hit. No good unders. Okay. Then if we look at like underdog as well, we'll notice that we are getting better odd bets for the most part, but a lot of those bets, the under is actually going to be also a negative number as well, which means the percent likelihood of those to hit is going to be not as great as well. So right now the boards are pretty tight. Okay. That's my long way of saying the boards are tight, but we are getting a decent amount of bets there, at least for MLB hitting score. Okay, so let's start with those. So for those of you guys that don't know, I recently added in this data point in there, and for the most part, it has been successful thus far. And so really what I'm going to be looking for is I just want to look at the prop or projected prop line difference. So sort by that, and then just find which props we are getting that tells us PrizePicks is probably undervaluing them in terms of how they're projected to play. But I also want to see in terms of how Vegas thinks that hitter is going to do as well. So if we can get two positive ones here like this one, we got Byron Buxton there, not a terrible one, where we're getting the projection over his prop line, and then we're also getting the average Vegas line over as well. Another one, Kyle Schwarber, don't mind that. Devers here as well. Like, we are getting a decent amount of props in that regard. And then Bo kind of seems like the most appealing, just given his Vegas line. Now, obviously, the under is heavily favored there, but that's at almost 10, so that's a pretty good number that we are getting there for Bo. Vlad Guerrero as well. Like, we are getting a decent amount of good props. Springer here as well. So there are a decent amount of good hitting props out there today. I mentioned this on yesterday's video. We only had like really one good one that I thought was good. And then he ended up ending up DNPing. So it looks like a better day today. And obviously, it being a Saturday slate, we typically are getting better props on the weekend slate. Okay, so I'm expecting the prop board to be populating throughout the day. Now, I do just want to touch on a couple of pitcher props as well. So sort by pitcher strikeouts here. Let's do only pitcher strikeouts. So I do think Brad Keller is kind of in an interesting spot here. Okay. Keller is going up against Minnesota, who over Minnesota's last 3 games, they have given up the second most strikeouts. And it's a ton. Okay. The issue with Keller here, I shouldn't say issue. He did finish Minnesota earlier on this season and had 6 strikeouts. That was one of his better strikeout days. But the issue is that he only pitched 4.2 innings. We need him to pitch 5 or 6 innings. And so this is another kind of situation in which I think I would rather bet the fantasy score for him and just bet on him getting those extra outs by pitching 5, maybe even possibly 6 innings. Now, he has been someone that has been struggling a little bit recently. We can see it with the ERA, has given up a run in every single game, and has been giving up a lot of walks as well. That's all stuff that's not going to help his fantasy score. And then really the only other one that I like would be Kershaw over 6.5 strikeouts, but this is another situation in which I think I would just rather bet the fantasy score depending on what it is. And so let's kind of just do the math here. If you get 6.5 strikeouts, it's going to be about 19.5 points. And so he has pitched 6 innings in every game thus far as well. So just right there, if he does that, that's about 37 fantasy points. Okay. And then obviously if he gets a couple of walks or whatnot, that'd mean the points are being regressed a little bit. But if he pitches 6 innings, that means he's probably going to get a quality start. And obviously he has a great record thus far, 4-1. So if he gets a win as well, that's just a cherry on top there as well. But it really depends on where his fantasy prop score comes out. I'm assuming it's going to be around 40. And obviously that's going to be a little bit more difficult to get to, but I think I'm fine with it. Like, the matchup has been great. You look at St. Louis, breaking it down, they've given up 11.16 strikeouts over the last 3 games per 9 innings, which is one of the worst. And then you look at their home road splits, they are significantly worse on the road. They're actually the second worst team on the road in terms of strikeouts. So that should benefit Clayton Kershaw as well. But once again, we are still waiting on the pitching props to come out. I think I'd rather do that. All right, so looking at the NBA props today, and I probably should have started with this, we are getting Curry, a free square with Curry, which is great, which is awesome. Hopefully we are able to take advantage of that. So as it sits right now, the best prop that we are getting on the board is actually looking at Jokic, and this is going to be on underdog, which I don't like, but it is an NBA prop. And so we can see minus 131, but that's to get 47.21 for the Vegas line. PrizePicks has it set at 75 or 47.5. Underdog has it set at 46.5. So to me, that's where we are gaining a decent amount of edge, but that's the biggest difference that we have on the board. and like we look at it the other way, there's not a big difference there as well. And so I'm bringing that up because we are kind of going to have to game the game here. And now I found this interesting. Jamal Murray's prop line was 39.5 just yesterday, and they have since dropped it down. I'm assuming the thought process is going to be that he has a much more difficult matchup today than he had against Minnesota. And in that case, I kind of get it. But the thing with Murray is he is just shooting the basketball a ton lately. And so if that doesn't change, we should be sitting pretty with the over fantasy score there. It is a little bit risky. Okay, I understand that. But one, he has been shooting a lot of 3 balls, which is great. And then just shooting, 20 plus attempts in basically every game and just playing a heavy amount of minutes. And so, just looking at that game as well, it is a close game, projected to be a close game. So with that, I expect him to get those heavy minutes again. And so I would say more times than not, just given how we have seen him play thus far in this playoffs, I would say that he should be able to get over this fantasy score. And are we getting a 3-pointers made prop for him? We are not. So obviously we're taking the points with Curry. Now I don't mind the fantasy score for Jamal Murray. I actually like the fact that it came down. When it was at 39.5, I was a little hesitant. Now I don't mind it. And then just one other quick prop here for PGA. I was trying to find good props and we just don't have them. My favorite one is actually going to be this one, Jeff Ogilvy. Less birdies are better than Aaron Baddeley. Aaron Baddeley has been the better player lately, and it's probably going to be close. It's probably going to be a tie, but I would say more times than not, Aaron Baddeley is going to score more birdies than Jeff Ogilvy. That's a strange one to me. But yeah, I was actually a little bit surprised we're not getting that many great PGA prop. All right, so obviously we are going to take that Curry free square, and then once again, I do want to probably bet the fantasy score for Clayton Kershaw. Don't know what that's going to be just yet, but I imagine it to be around 40. If it's under that, obviously we can hammer that. And then Jeff Ogilvy, less birdies are better than Aaron Baddeley, more times than not. That should be the case. But those are the best props right now. I do like those hitting props. And so if we are kind of just pairing that with the Curry kind of free square, I don't mind just kind of doing those in one-off situations, knowing that a majority of them should hit. But that's all for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. Give that like and subscribe. If you guys want to join 9 to 5, get access to that cheat sheet, the Underdog and PrizePicks cheat sheet is available for $10 a month. Let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.